Ma'am.
I was thinking. This other thing I'm not-
2:31.
They're right here.
Windows.
But when I'm clicking on it, it's not coming up.
It may have to.
Amber, she has a PowerPoint.
I have not, it's not a PowerPoint,
You
just
just
some
have like
photos.
regular photos. Are they where we can stick them on here, or you want to
They're
pull
on
them
a,
up?
they're on
From
a
the jump
drive, but
Can we have
one
two
of them
of
I
them?
printed
Not at the same time.
One of them I
when-
printed out, but I don't know if I'm gonna
We
even
gonna see.
need them or not.
Did it
I have
pop
no
up?
idea.
Did it pop up?
I don't know. I
Is
don't
it
know how
the
to use
pictures
it.
that you sent us, Miss Anna?
I sent y'all this picture, but I have some other
Other
ones
ones.
on there just in
We
case.
got several pictures for
I
your
just put them on my
case.
thing today.
Where is it?
Okay, I mean,
All right, we call our Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order Monday, September the 16th, 2024 at 2:33 p.m. At this time, I'm going to ask our board members, have you reviewed your minutes from the August the 19th meeting to see can we have a motion and a second for approval?
So moved. Miles, I moved.
We have a motion and a second to approve our minutes from the August 19th meeting. All in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes from our meeting have been approved. I will read the meeting statements of power. The Augusta Board of Zoning Appeals hears and makes decisions on applications for variances in accordance with powers granted under Section 1-4-88 of the Augusta, Georgia Code. The applicant must provide any scale drawings or plot plans, including all dimensions, pictures, or any other supporting information at this meeting. Only information presented at this meeting may be used in any future hearings regarding this petition. Any person affected by the board's decision may file an appeal with the Superior Court of Richmond County, Georgia, within 30 days of the decision of the board. The meeting will be conducted in accordance with the board's bylaws and rules of procedure and the latest edition of Robert's Rules of Order, unless otherwise directed by the majority of the board in session at the time. A minimum of 10 minutes shall be afforded for the presentation of data, evidence, and opinions on each side of a petition. If more than 10 minutes is afforded to one side, then an equal amount of time shall be afforded to the other side. The board encourages participation in this hearing, and there is no restriction on who may address the board within the allotted time. But the board asks that public comments be brief, on subject, and directed to the board, not to any individual or group. Staff, BZA-24-21. Guess we need to go on record saying the applicant, of course, postponed until the October meeting.
Yes, ma'am. They're still working through some design with engineering and utilities at this point for BZA 24-21.
Okay, you want to go ahead and, for number 3 to be on record?
Right. For number 3 also, is a petition by the Augusta Housing and Community Development Department. And what they're seeking is we're going to ask for a vote for withdrawal without prejudice to allow them to continue to work on the design.
I'll make a motion, applicant on item BZA 2424, withdraw without prejudice.
Okay.
All right, it has been motioned and second for us to, this petitioner to withdraw without prejudice for BZA-24-24. All in favor, please do so by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, it's been withdrawn. All right, staff.
Item number 4 on your agenda is BZA 24-26, and it is a petition by Kenyatta Miles requesting a variance from Section 8-8B of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to reduce the side setback from the required 10 feet down to 9 feet in order to install a mobile home on the property located at 2954 Algernon Circle. The mobile home is already installed. They just want to change the positioning of it. Staff will present in detail next.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Catterton, Development Services Administrator from the Planning and Development Department. The variance request involves approximately 0.26 acres located at 2954 Algernon Circle. The property is currently zoned RMH and is situated in the Cloverdale subdivision, and this applicant is seeking a variance to reduce the side setbacks from the required 10 feet to 9 feet in order to reposition that mobile home onto the property. The property was subdivided from the initial 0.51 acre lot addressed 2956 Algernon Circle on April 2nd of 2024 to establish a joint ownership with this property. The lot is approximately 80 feet wide and 141 feet deep, which is the average lot size of the existing property zoned RMH in the Cloverdale subdivision. And then per section 8.8 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, it allows for 10-foot minimum side setbacks for lots having a width of over 70 feet. And the purpose of reducing the side setbacks on the property from 10 feet to 9 feet is to allow for the mobile home that has been purchased for the property to be situated horizontally instead of vertically on the property with the front door facing Algernon Circle. The proposal is consistent with the aspects of the 2023 Comprehensive Plan and compatible with the surrounding zoning and land uses. And at the time of completion of this report, there were no inquiries received by staff concerning this variance application. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, thanks, Ashley. At this time, could we please have the petitioner, Kenyatta Miles, please come over to the podium to my right, and please state your name and address for the record. And you heard staff presentation, and of course, after you state your name and your address, you can, of course, present and share with, whatever you would like concerning this request with the board.
Yes, my name is Kenyatta Miles. My current address is 2728 Cardigan Court in Hetzler, Georgia. My petition is for the 2954 Algernon Circle location. This is a lot that I purchased for my mom, and that is her mobile home that is currently on the lot. We moved it out of Butler Creek, so we canceled that contract where she lived for many years. Since they're no longer doing lot rental, they're only doing mobile home sales. And before moving it, we didn't realize that it was over the length until Mr. Haddon of Haddon Transport actually placed it there. So now there's nowhere else to take it.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Miles. Do we have any objectors in the audience? Okay. Can we please get staff recommendation?
The Planning and Development staff is recommending denial of the variance request because it does not meet the criteria for granting a variance as established in Section 33 of the zoning ordinance. However, should the board desire to approve the applicant's request, staff would recommend the following conditions based on the fact that it should face the road. And that would be that we would grant the ordinance, you would grant the ordinance approving the variance and allow for a 1-foot reduction on each side setback. And that concludes staff's recommendation.
Okay, Ms. Miles, you heard, of course, staff recommendation. Do you agree with staff's recommendation?
I will agree with staff recommendations of the placement.
Motion to approve with staff's recommendation for approval.
Second.
It has been motion and second for approval with staff's recommendation. All in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, you have your approval. The letter will go in the mail to you this week. Thanks and have a great one.
Next item on the agenda, item number 5, is a petition by Anna Everett on behalf of David Everett requesting variances from sections 8-1, 8-8, and of the zoning ordinance to reduce the side setback from 7 feet to 5 feet, to reduce the rear setback from 42 feet to 8 feet, and increase the front yard height of the masonry wall from 4 feet to 6 feet, and increase the breezeway from 15 feet to 35 feet to construct one single-family home on the property located at 1125 Montesano Avenue. This home is in the historic district, so it will have to go before HPC in addition to this hearing. Staff will present.
Good afternoon. Again, this is Ashley Catterton, Development Services Administrator with Planning and Development. This request concerns a 0.33 acre parcel situated on the west side of the Montesano Avenue and located in the Somerville Historic District. The lot was purchased and subdivided in March of 2006 from the neighboring property owner located at 1127 Montesano Avenue and has remained vacant. The applicant is seeking approval of the 4 variances listed above in your staff reports in order to construct a new single-family residence on the property. For the findings, the lot is approximately 6 feet wide and 210 feet deep, which this does not include that small rectangular portion located on the lot. And as you can see on the map towards the back and that rear, there's a small portion that measures approximately 32 feet wide and 54 feet deep. The applicant's design proposes a 3-bedroom and 3.5-bath home with a swimming pool, attached 2-car garage, outdoor living spaces, as well as an attractive landscaping and curb appeal. The applicant is also proposing to construct a 6-foot masonry brick wall in the front yard. Also, the applicant is proposing to extend the width of the residence by 2 feet to establish space for a narrow driveway and ADA compliant parking. And the applicant is also proposing a 30-foot breezeway. And at the time of completion of this report, there have been no inquiries received by staff concerning this variance application. And that concludes staff's report at this time.
All right, thanks, Ashley. At this time, can we please have Anna Everett, if you would please come to the microphone, please state your name and address for the record, and you've heard staff presentation, and of course, you can share with the board anything that you need to share concerning this variance request.
Thank you very much. My name is Anna Everett, and I currently reside at 2219 Overton Road in Augusta. Like you heard, we acquired this lot in 2006, so we've owned it for about 18 years, and we always wanted to use it as a retirement home. We recently sold another house in Somerville 2.5 years ago. So as far as addressing the variances, the first one, the house has been moved over 2 feet towards the property line, towards the house that we actually acquired the lot from. We're requesting we go from 7 to 5 feet. We did not make the house wider intentionally. We made the house wider to work as an ADA compliant home. My husband currently has some issues with his knees and a heart valve and some other things, and we want to be prepared for wheelchair access if necessary. So the house is actually designed as thin as it can be and allow that to happen. And we also moved it over so that we could acquire a handicap space. So we have an entrance from the front of the house that is accessed from Montesano, but we also, when you come in the driveway, we have a handicap space where you can stop and enter a more private entrance at the side. So that is the request for the reduction in the setback. The one as far as the wall goes on the front, we have, since the report was made, we have decided that we don't want the entire wall to be 6 feet tall. We are requesting that only 5 posts be 6 feet tall and that the wall in between be 4 feet tall. And it will have a row of azaleas placed along the Montesano side of that wall. And I brought a picture of that. We were trying to get the this to be able to, I'm not even real sure how to use one of these, to tell you the truth. I can pretend. But anyway, so this is a wall that actually occurs in Somerville on Kingsway and is pretty much exactly what we would like to do. And then I also have looked very carefully at every house on this street, particularly in this block from Walton Way to Bellevue. Studied a lot of things going on, not just for this meeting, but for the Historic Preservation Commission. And there are other walls along the street that are all at the property line, ranging in height from a little over 6 feet to 2 feet. Well, actually, there's an iron railing, a see-through iron railing fence that's probably 6 feet as well. And then when there's a low wall, which there's some that are 2 feet, there's vegetation that also gets higher. I'm not sure what we're doing. Anyway, I'll just keep explaining this. And so there are other walls is what I'm getting at that are 6 feet or 2 feet with a hedge. There's a lot of that going on. Our wall and all of those are on the property line. They're right next to the sidewalk. Ours is a 25-foot back, which is our property setback line. So conceivably, we could put a house there, but we've decided just to put the wall. And we would like 2 ornate wrought iron gates. I also had pictures of those, but they're similar to the house that's at the corner of Walton Way and Montesano now. There's a mid-century modern house down there. And so, but they have very elaborate wrought iron gates. So that's what we're trying to do there. So we really just want the 6 feet for the posts to allow us to have a little more leeway as to how tall the gates are that we find. Now, addressing the garage at the back, we did create this long linear design because of the narrow shape of the lot. Like I said, it's only 60 feet wide. It's 200 feet long. We do have this rear portion of the lot that we're not using and really don't plan on using. But we tucked the garage behind the house because we don't really want to see a lot from the street. I'm very cognizant of what is happening at Montesano. So I didn't really want to look down the driveway and see a garage. So we've tucked it over. There are also several other structures around this side of the lot. One of them is next door to us at the house I guess it's 1127 Montesano, which it's a 2-story apartment building. And I went and measured it the other day, and it sits about, I measured the brick to the privacy fence, and it's 7 feet, but it has at least a 2-foot overhang. It's already less than what we're asking for. There's another property right behind this. I think this was kind of shown on some of the pictures that staff had. It's a 2-story garage apartment, and the back of it faces our lot, and it is, I couldn't really climb over there to measure it, but it appears to be, it may be 5 feet from the property line. So we're putting another little structure back there. Those are also, the one behind us is a wood structure. There's a brick structure next to us. Our garage is all brick. And it has a 0 overhang. So we're not in the space at all. It's just a brick little building, 2-car garage, within 8 feet of the property line. And so we're asking to reduce the setback from 42 feet to 8 feet, but that's also because we're using the rear setback line that is closest to Montesano as opposed to using the one that's 50 feet back. So there's been some discussion about that even as to which rear setback line should you be using. But so that's basically how the garage ends up there. And then the breezeway. So the breezeway was designed, of course, kind of came as one of the last things that I looked at because it occurred to me that where the garage is there, the house is there, and wouldn't it be nice if we could go from the garage underneath a breezeway to get into the house? Again, if I'm with my husband in a wheelchair, it would be nice to stay under cover from the garage. And that is a definition in the ordinance that just says that a breezeway can only be 15 feet long. We're asking for 35 feet because it spans this pool, and the pool deck are already at their minimum size. So if that explains everything, that's where we are.
Okay, thanks. Do we have any objectors in the audience? Okay. Can we get staff's recommendation or?
May I make a comment?
Yes, you could.
In regards to the petition, for the applicant, we just want to make sure you're aware that despite whatever approval may happen at this point, it still needs to meet the building requirements. So if the building division finds that this expanded breezeway is not going to be in compliance, then that will overrule this recommendation.
And we'd be fine with that.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we got that on the record.
Thank you.
All right. So that being said, the Planning and Development staff is recommending denial of the requested variances as they do not meet all of the criteria for granting the variances established in Section 33 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. However, should the board move to approve the applicant's request, staff recommends the following conditions to accommodate the ambulatory needs of the owner. We recommend approval of the rear and side setbacks as condition number 1. We recommend that the post will only be 5 feet tall, but the fence will be 4 feet tall. And number 3, we recommend that HPC approval must be obtained prior to pulling a permit and starting of the work. And that concludes staff's recommendation.
Okay, thanks. Have any comments by board members?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Director, I'm sorry, I believe I heard you say that the fence post would be 5 feet, capped at 5 feet. I believe the petitioner was hoping for 6, is that right?
Correct.
Is that?
Oh, I thought she said 5. I'm sorry.
I said 6.
6. Okay.
I like to stay just with masonry dimensions too.
Yeah, it's easier for them to do 6 feet.
Okay, so just clarity-wise, we can amend it to
Sorry
be
about
6
that.
feet.
I thought it was 5, but it's 6. Okay.
I have no further questions unless anybody else does.
All right, thanks, Board Member Mooney. Board Member Brigham?
Let's make sure that we are in agreement on what the conditions are if we approve it between the staff.
Do you agree with the staff's recommendation, is what Board Member Brigham wants to know from the petitioner? Do you agree with the staff's recommendation if this board approves it?
Yes, if I remember what she said.
I'm gonna ask her to repeat it.
That would be great.
Okay.
So in our revised recommendation, and I'll just sum it up.
Okay.
So Amber, for the minutes, I'll sum it up again. But in order to accommodate some of the ambulatory needs of the owner, we recommend approval of the side and rear setbacks, that the posts be 6 feet tall, but the fence be 4 feet tall. And I remember now you said 5 posts. That's where I got the 5 feet, so I apologize for that. And that HPC approval must be obtained prior to pulling a permit and starting the work. The other items on the agenda were the increase in the height of the masonry wall located in the front yard and the increase in the length of the breezeway. And we'll recommend approval of those. Those are not because of ambulatory issues, but that would be the alternative approval of what they asked for.
So it's my understanding that it's all approved? That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, I just gave a rationale for why we were agreeing to the approval.
Okay.
And I agree.
Motion to approve the conditions as stated by the director.
Second.
Okay, it has been motion and second for approval with staff's recommendation included. All in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, you have your approval. The letter will go in the mail to you this week.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much
have
for
a
your
great one.
time. Oh, get my home.
Do we have any legal issues?
This is Lenitha Pitts with the Law Department. There's nothing for the legal session.
All right, we appreciate that. Meeting adjourned. Look like the director has something she wants to say. You want me to adjourn first? Yes. Okay, meeting is adjourned.
All right. So I have some great news. Kevin is back. So he will be joining us next month. And then, of course, we're continuing our cross-training. So just so you'll get familiar from an email perspective too, Ashley Catterton is assigned to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So she's going to be helping out. They're going to learn how to run the pre-meetings and everything. So thank you for your patience and working with us. And sometimes I'll be coming in late because if they see me, they'll use me as a crutch. And I want them to get to a point where they can work a little bit more independently and understand what your expectations are. So Ashley Catterton's your representative. Of course, Kevin and Brian and I are always here too, but we're just still cross-training, and that'll be going on for about the next 3-4 months. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right.
Thank you. Okay.